Französisch oder Tibetisch. I would like you then just to answer in English. That would be more easy. But I would like to start with a question myself. So we all know that Tibetans in Tibet, even in China, people live in a sort of repressive society, in a repressive context. Freedom of speech, as we know it here, is not does not exist. So, in a context like that, how can independent art can it exist, or is it impossible to exist? We know filmmakers like Bematzeten who have developed their own film language, their own sort of, he portrays a lot of messages during different stories. So the basic, my main question is, how free can artistic expression be in Tibet? How free are they really?
Yes, well, hello everyone. Sorry, I can't speak German, so I have to speak English. Yes, obviously it's a challenge to be a Tibetan filmmaker in the People's Republic of China. It's already a challenge to be a filmmaker altogether. And when you're Tibetan, you have like, maybe a glass ceiling, or you have double problem. Because you are carefully watched, because the image of Tibet matters a lot internationally. So the Chinese authorities used to master the images and wanted to master the images, and they made many, many films about Tibetans and Tibet without Tibetans for many decades. And then Pema Tsetan appeared, and he claimed the right to make films offering a Tibetan position or a Tibetan view or a Tibetan mind, Tibetan images, Tibetan language. And he's been extremely careful. He's a very subtle person, very quiet and clever, and he was born in the system. So I think when you are born in the system, you really learn how to go through all these intricacies, and you learn how to be even more subtle. And of course, he is very careful not to go, head front with complicated or problematic topics. So he is very restrained in what he can choose as a topic. In a way, it's impediment in his, obviously he could make many other kinds of films or say different things, but he has to it's a very fine line on which he has to walk. Pleasing first his own wish as a filmmaker, keep being honest to himself, and also not offending the authorities, because maybe you know that when you do a film, I don't think it's the same as in Switzerland when you make a film in China, and when you're a Tibetan, but anyway, even if you're not a Tibetan, you have to write a script and give it to censorship. Well, they don't call it censorship, but it's a censorship. So they give the script, and it has to be a detailed script if it's about what they call minorities. So because he films Tibetans, it has to be really detailed. And in Balloon and in other films, he also portrays clerics, nuns, monks. So he also has to apply, ask permission to the commission, or the religious commission, ethnic affair commission, film commission. So you have many commissions, and sometimes, one of these commissions will say, sorry, this is wrong, this is offending, this is not possible, you cannot say this, you cannot say that. But he's clever enough to develop scripts that can maybe maneuver around. Of course, it curtails many possibilities. It closes off many possibilities, but still, he has managed to make, quite a number of very interesting films. He told me that he was surprised that he got permission to make this film, because it's about birth control, birth policy, one child, or not one child, but it's, the birth control policy, contraception and everything, which is a kind of a difficult topic to deal with for China publicly, and also especially for Tibetans. But the film is not offending to the policies. The film does not, give any negative comments about these policies. It's just, showing how a family deals with it without commenting upon it. So maybe this is why it worked. But for instance, you may have seen, and you may have screened, because it's wonderful that you present so many Tibetan films here in Zurich. So the Zurich people are very lucky to see all these films. So Tarlo and Jimpa, his two previous films, actually Tarlo was released before Jimpa. He made them before. Made first Tarlo and first Jimpa, but in his mind, because he's kind of a mastermind with a master plan, the films that he wanted to make 10 years ago, he hasn't made them, he still mentions them, there was the big plan at the beginning, and he follows his path, So he wanted to do Jimpa before Tarlo, but he got the authorization. There was a problem with Jimpa, so he could do Tarlo before. So sometimes his own schedule is being hampered because of problems of authorizations. But so it's not free. He has to get authorization, but he's subtle enough so that he can sort of go through. Also, there are 2 levels to which you can apply for permission. You can go central office in Beijing, but you can go also to the provincial office. Here it's called Qinghai province, where is Amdo, the place where he's from. So applying